Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Canon, EOS photographer, RandallMRueff. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2014 AD. And once again, I want to talk about the alleged, rumored, no known facts outside of Canon, obviously, that we're aware of. And that is the 46.1 megapixel EOS 3DX. They're talking about it to be announced before Photo Plus. But that's been a while since they've made that announcement. So let's talk about the 3D, or what we can expect or hope for, and some of the things that look really neat and what doesn't, and let's go from there. So um, let's talk about some of the things. First of all, you see I assume this is going to be a successor to either the 1DX or the 1DC. Or both. We don't know that information yet. We don't know whether it's going to have full HD only, or will it have 4K, or both. We don't have that information. Here are some of the rumored specs that we're going about. 46.1 megapixels, which would be awesome. 5 frames per second, which would be a downgrade from what the 1DX and the 1DC. Dual digit 5s, same as the 1DX and 1DC. Have an ISO of 50 to 12,800, which would be a downgrade. 16-bit autofocus, same as the 1DX. U.S.B 3, that makes sense. CF plus SD, which that doesn't make sense. That's interesting. So let's talk about each of these features individually and go from there, basically. 46.1 megapixels. That would be a gigantic leap from what it's doing now with 18.1 megapixels with the still images. That would be humongous. Now, this is also going to make the file size drastically larger. Let's say 18 times, which means it's going to be over 200. It's going to be around 2.25 to 250% larger file size, because let's see, 18 plus 18 would be 36. 7, 8, 9, 40, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're talking, big jump. Be twice plus 10. So, yeah, big jump in megapixels. Now, let's talk about the next thing. The rumored, we don't know, but this is the rumor, 5 frames per second. Well, I can understand, even with dual digit 2s, or excuse me, there's 2 of them, digit 5s, that 5 frames per second at 41 or 46.1 megapixels. I mean, it makes sense that you're not going to get the 10 or 12 frames per second when you're doing resolution of 46.1 megapixels. So I'm hoping that rumor isn't true. I'm hoping they've come up with some digit 6, or something better than the digit 5. Digit 5 is great, don't get me wrong. Dual digit 5 is even better. But I'm hoping they come up with something faster and better, so that we can at least, if we want to, get the 10 or 12 or maybe 14 frames per second on the photo end of it. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people that would like to get up to 24 frames or 25 frames, 29 and 30 frames, or then eventually 49 and 50 and 59 and 60 frames per second on the photo side. Now, that may be a while way, sometime coming, but that's what a lot of people want. As far as professional photographers, so I can just sit here. I mean, basically, it'd be the same as doing video, except I'm getting still images. Now, a lot of that can be done. You can use 4K, record the video, and extract your stills. But there's still going to be people who want to get the advantage of the still photos at a very higher speed. And being able to do that at 24, 25, 29, 30, 49, 50, and then 59 and 60 frames per second or more is the dream of a lot of photographers, especially ones that do high-speed sports or sports action or wildlife or just anything that moves fast. That's the dream. And of course, once you get to that level, you're going to want to be able to do more, because you're going to do, up to about 30, between 30 and 60 frames, you're doing what the eye sees. Above that, you're going to go into, you record slow-mo because you're recording more frames than the eye can see. So there's always possibility for improvement, at least in my lifetime. And I imagine it'll keep going, but there's always going to be room for improvement. So there's a lot of things. But 5 frames per second would be greater than what I've got right now. I've got an EOS Digital XT. It does 3 frames per second, so that would be a 5. That would be a bump. Now it's not going to be as good as the 1DX or the 1DC with 5 frames. How many frames it's going to be, we don't know. Is it going to be dual digit 5? We don't know. I assume it's going to be at least dual digit 5. It may be trio digit 5. That would make sense for some, not only the gathering the photo, but rendering to the cards and the auto. You might have one dedicated to just autofocus. You might have another one dedicated to file capturing. You might have another one dedicated to taking the file and transferring it to the CF card in the final image. So there's a lot that can be done with more than one digit 5 processor. Now, 5021 12,800. Obviously, that is something that's not as wide as 1DX and 1DC. We're talking 50's fine, 100's fine, but the 12,800, hopefully it goes as high as what the current 1DX and 1DC, which is like, 52,200, something, not 5,200, but 52,200 native, plus the high ones of 120, 104, and whatever the super high ones are. I'm not sure what they're off the top of my head right now. But anyway, point is though, 50 to 12,800 is great. Don't be wrong. It's a lot better than what I've got now. But I would like to see it match up or surpass both on the low and high end of what the current 1DX and 1DC have available. 16-bit, could be 32-bit or 64-bit. Yeah, eventually. Autofocus, let's talk about that. Same as the 1DX, apparently. That's the rumor. Hopefully they'll make some improvements. I mean, it's always room for improvement. No matter how good it gets, room for improvement. So I'm hoping they do that. Now, if you'll notice on the picture, it says something. It says eye control. And the rumor floating around is, if you know how Canon can currently, you can take that little thumb switch and you can move your focus points by the thumb switch. Well, the rumored technology is that somehow they've got where when you're looking inside the viewfinder, it somehow tracks where your eye is and moves the autofocus points by where you're looking, which would be really, really cool. I don't know how they do it, and I'm not even sure that it really exists, but that's the rumors. And if that is true, that would be totally awesome. That way, if I'm taking a picture and I want to focus in on a particular person's head or a particular object, I can just look at that object, and all of a sudden the autofocus will boom right to it. So that would be awesome. If that's what that is, if eye control, that's what that is, that would be awesome. U.S.B 3 is not really a big thing because most people aren't going to be transferring their images via USB. What they're going to do is take the cards out, put them in a card reader, and then plug that card reader into their Mac or PC or whatever device they're using. So most people aren't going to transfer straight from the camera to your computer or your hard drive or whatever you're downloading to via USB. Most people, if they're going to be tethered, they're going to be using FireWire or even Ethernet. Ethernet's the big thing nowadays. FireWire is kind of going the way of a lot of other things. But Ethernet would be the way a lot of people would want to transfer because of the high transfer speed. So I don't see really USB 3 as being a big feature. And hopefully it will be Ethernet because it's a lot faster. It's a lot easier to connect. I even like it better because it clicks it when you click it in. It clicks and holds itself in. So I'm hoping that's the way it goes. Nothing wrong with USB 3. It's better than 1 and 2, but it would be great if they had both options. That's what we would really like. We always like options, so that's what we want. Now, as far as CF plus SD, I don't like that. I would rather have 2 CF cards or even 4 CF cards. I think it would be great if we had room for 4 of those cards, or maybe even 5. I mean, if they made it big enough, they could do that. But having both CF and SD cards, that's not really something a lot of photographers want. They want the same. Um, I mean, I can see where doing like a camera with nothing but SD cards, and then have another version where you use CF cards. But most photographers don't want to deal with 2 card types. They either want to have one or the other. So if you have multiple CF cards, that's what you want, or multiple SD cards, that's what you want. You don't want to have a combination of both for the majority of people. Now, obviously, there's exceptions to every rule when it comes to this kind of thing. But for me, for example, I don't like SD cards. I prefer the compact flash because they're a little bit bigger. They're easier to pick up. SD cards are kind of small to handle. I mean, both of them are small, for the most part. But the CF card's a little bit bigger. I like them a little bit better. Just personal preference, again, me. But dual CF cards would be the way I would go, and hope to see it go. It works great with 1DX and 1DC, and a lot of other cameras. So, but either way is fine. I just personally would prefer the compact flash, or having the option of, like I said, one camera with multiple SD cards, one camera with multiple CF cards. Now, I mean, they might be able to do both. You can have, say, 2 or 3 CF cards and 2 or 3 SD cards. That could be. I mean, if they made the camera big enough and the space to write, they could do that. So that would be kind of cool too. But personally, I think most photographers have one card type that they like, or even if it's not, they prefer to stick with one type. That way, they don't have to mess with 2 different cards. Because if you have different card types, you have to have different holders for different sizes and different pockets in your camera. It's a mess. Having one card size is what most people want. I know I do. Whether it's SB or CF, one card size. And I just personally think, with QSD or QSD not making a big introduction so far, I mean, I haven't seen any. Nikon's got their thing. They can do QSD or whatever they're calling them nowadays, but I haven't even seen any advertised anywhere for the most part. I mean, I've seen a few things, but not much. Most of them nowadays are CF or SD still, so I think CF is the way to go. So, of course, next thing I want to talk about, obviously, is the price. The 1DX is currently at $6,700. The 1DC is currently $10,000. It's at least at B&H. Now, there's some other places you can get it cheaper, and there's probably other places you can get it more expensive, although I haven't seen it less expensive than B&H. But it's currently about $10,000, which is a $2,000 price drop. Now, how long that will last, who knows? That $2,000 price drop on the 1DC tells me there's something coming pretty soon to compete or replace the 1DC. And my thoughts are that it's going to be a 1DC with higher resolution, more frames, better chips, better ISO, better autofocus, better everything. So that's what I'm hoping for. Plus, the big thing I want built-in GPS. I really do. I want built-in GPS, and I know this is something. Another thing I want would be a built-in flash. I know that's not something a lot of professionals want, but having that little pop-up flash I have on the Digital XT, now for the professional, and it may not be something you want, but as a casual, every once in a while, just being able to pop that flash up and not have to carry around a big flash. I mean, I've got a 580 EX2 that I can have and use, and it's great to have in my bag and be able to use it. But I don't always want to carry around a big flash. So if I can just have a little pop-up flash that would, just for that occasional photograph, that can spit out, 4 or 5 flashes real quick, just that would be great. So built-in GPS, pop-up flash, or they can do something where just the flash comes out the front. There's lots of things they could do if they wanted to. So there it is. Oh, excuse me. Is it going to be 46.1? Will it be 50? How many frames? Who knows? What will the ISO range really be? We 16-bit, 32-bit, 64, who knows? Autofocus, obviously, I would think it's going to be 1DX or 1DC or better. USB 3. What kind of cards? I assume it's going to be CF, but who really knows? So many options, so many hardware and software combination. We really don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And if you're at Canon, I would really love to get my hands on. Be one of the first people to really try this puppy out. I'm hoping it's going to have all the buttons and stuff with the 1DX and 1DC, plus add more or make improvements. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm Canon, photographer for RandallMRueff. My name and address is on my channel, and it's going to be in the video description below. So if you're at Canon and you're looking at this video, hey, hook me up. I'd also like to get a 28-300 lens, a filter for that lens. If the GPS isn't internal, which I hope it is, a GPS device, preferably the one that goes on the side. The RX 500 flat, or 600 flash, some extra batteries, an extra battery charger. A nice camera bag wouldn't hurt either. Although I can take care of that myself actually, but it wouldn't hurt to have a really nice one from you guys. Of course, if I got all this stuff, I would do unboxing videos and usage videos, and I'd take a whole bunch of pictures and show you how it works and all the great features and all that. So again, my name and address is in my is on my homepage on my YouTube channel. It's gonna be in the video description below. So I hope the people at Canon will take note and look me up and help me out so I can help you guys out. Not that you guys are Canon makes great stuff. They're not gonna need my help, but it would be great to be able to be the ones that promote their product because I love their stuff. I mean, I did Dribble XT that only does 8 megapixels. I love it. It's not as fast. The focus isn't as good as the current stuff. The ISO's can't go near as high. It's just a lot of things it can't do that the newer stuff is better at. So I'm hoping to get my hands on one. Would love to. So with that in mind, I'm going to say this is going to be the end of my video. So until next time, I'm Canon U.S. photographer, RandallMRueff. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. God bless. Bye. And check it out. I learned how to stop this. With my new Mac, I learned how to push the button to stop the video. So it's kind of neat. So I'm going to stop it right now.